Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Revelations from a Baby Boomer with Miss Millie and Jason. That's me.
Thank you.
And today we'll be discussing a little bit about the publishing aspect. If you are an inspiring writer, if you have dreams to have your book out there on the shelves one day, this information will be very useful for you to consider along that journey. So one thing we're going to look at now is Miss Millie has had a lot of experience with self-publishing companies. And first we're going to describe the differences between a self-publishing company and a traditional publishing company so you have a little bit more of an understanding of what it is you'll be dealing with as you go along. So Miss Millie, you want to take over for me?
Well, I don't necessarily want to take over. You're doing such a great job. Why don't you
Thank
go
you.
ahead with the questions? What we're really doing is trying to get our segments and started into publishing, how you want to get published, if you want to publish, the things that you need to know before you decide to be published. If you're writing a book, do you want to publish it? Do you want it just for a binder, just to share with your family, or are you trying to be a published author?
Right.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
And those are some important things to consider. So, Miss Millie, what is the difference between a traditional publishing company and a self-publishing company for those people who want to be authors?
That is an excellent question. But first, let me say this. Many of us writers, when we start writing, we're thinking, wow, this story is so good. I'm going to get so much money. I'm just going to write this and then a publishing company going to pay me for it. Wrong. Publishing companies like self-publishing companies such as mine, New Writers in Action, Westbow Press, Tate Publishing, and many, many others. Doran Publishing Company.
Doran's Publishing,
They are
yeah.
all self-publishing companies. Traditional publishing companies such as Random House, and I think it's something like Solomon and Solomon. It's plenty of them. They're traditional. When you get those, they possibly will offer you opening staffing of money. It could be from 100,000, 10,000. It could be whatever. If you really got a beautiful book, good book, like what I had, Secrets Uncovered, I could have possibly gotten over $2 million, really. But I was a nobody. And that's another thing. It's so many aspects that they look at. We don't know this writer. We don't even know if all that she's saying is true. So people, they look at things they could be sued for. You know, the research and the caliber of the book. It's so much into that. Once you get known, say for instance, like me, I've sold over 100,000 books since I started my writing career. Now, if I would pitch this next book to Random House, it's a possibility that they will offer me a nice sum of money for that. And they may even go back and say, you know what, now that you've finished Secrets Uncovered, J. Edgar Hoover, The Relative, or What's Done in the Dark, we want that.
Right.
And they may offer me a nice sum of money for that for the whole caboodle. It's just about how much work you do. It's about the branding of yourself, like you're branding yourself early, Jason. So your book could possibly get some money once it come out, because once you get your list of people that are waiting in the wayside to buy your book, I think it's about selling books. That's what it's about. And so it is. Jason and I are going to go over what happens if you go to me or traditional publishing company. What kind of money is in it for you as a writer? That's
Right.
what we're going to talk about today.
Right. And one thing I want to mention too that Miss Millie taught me about traditional publishing companies is usually it's very difficult to get involved with them if you haven't already established yourself as either a bestseller or someone whose books are selling at a very exponential rate. Self-publishing companies are usually good for just about anyone who has a well-written manuscript who wants to get started. But it's more of an investment for the self, and we'll go more into that. So here we have a little bit of this is some of your experiences with a book that you had submitted to a self-publishing company before you started your own self-publishing company. And we have here some statements just to illustrate for you guys, the audience, what you can expect from a self-publishing company.
Right.
So, Miss Millie here, I'm seeing that they're selling some of your books here, and these are some digital copies of the book that are being sold. Let's see. I'm going to try and find a good example here.
This is what you call a royalty.
Royalty
Royalty. I can't even see. Royalty statement. And I just got them, by the way. I've never seen them before. I just got them.
Okay, here's a good example. So here, this was sold, your book, Drifted Back in Time, was sold on December 27th, 2013.
Cut.